But thank you for this episode of The Third Side. Again, subscribe and like, and I promise you we'll be better next time, maybe on a topic where we disagree. So thank you very much. See you next week.
Take care,
Also
Peter.
the good souls.
Peace.
Remember,
5,
Hey,
4,
I forgot to
3,
mention the
2,
cartels. The cartels still
waiting,
operate.
waiting, try to come back, and we are back.
The cartels still operate in California, in Tulare County up in the Sierra, about 2,000, 3,000 feet. They catch these farms where they just rip up the land, misuse chemicals. Yeah, they disrupt everything. And the problem is it goes to the dispensaries, because the dispensaries have to pay a tax when they buy from the legitimate growers. So instead of that $53 or the $35, they're getting an ounce of marijuana, high-grade marijuana, for $20. And so they charge the same price. They're getting around the taxes. That's a problem that they're still trying to take care of. What it requires is more vigilance, which means more regulation, more people hunting down these illegal farms. That is a problem.
Zoom meeting, can you all talk?
Yes, yes.
We can hear you. Excellent.
Can you
I
hear
want to
us?
know, Pool guy looks really, really relaxed. Pool guy,
I am
what do you think
relaxed.
about
Look like he
this?
been
I am
smoking.
relaxed. Yeah, it's gummies for me, but if you want to go and do something in your own home, do whatever you want to do in your own home. You take it on the roads and endanger other people. There needs to be a standard, a way to catch people, just like you do a blood alcohol test. It'll be a prick test, if you will, like you test for diabetes, something instantaneous. You do a little finger prick, and that technology will come.
Should we do that before we legalize it or after?
No, everything after.
Afterwards.
Everything after. Let this shit fly.
It goes for barbiturates. It goes like for sleeping aids. People taking Ambien and
That's
and
right.
driving still applies.
Yeah.
That's right.
And again, stoners.
Hey, I guess he lost Peter.
No, he's
Peter, but Donald, let's go ahead. Donald, tell me what you think.
Well, I got two trifolds. I'm for a legalization of it and like that, but in certain areas, like for me, like I'm always saying, I work for TSA. You still couldn't work at TSA being with the weed and stuff right now, because you are tested for it, and there is something about the levels of testing that there are numbers when they get to a high level. They can see you had it yesterday, or they can see you had it a week ago, but it's still in your system even after a week.
Hi, Peter.
And so working for the government and working for any security minded or high security, you could not do it even though it's legal. It's almost like alcohol. You still can't work there, or if you get in your system, you're still gonna get fired.
That's great for the federal government, but what about every other business?
Well, if they have a policy, they would have to make a policy for it. So I've been in many cases where we had to let people go because they had it in their system, even though they were in the room in their system. So it's a slippery slope on that side, but I'm for legalization because I think if you legalize it, it's a lot better than not having it illegal. So
And Joe Boy, if I work for the FBI, and I know that if I get tested every other month, spot tested, I'm not smoking dope.
yeah, you ain't gonna smoke it, right? You're not gonna smoke it.
I tried to get over and over again, Ted, but my
But-
damn software was messing up. I wanted to have Ted versus Joe so we can yell at each other and go,
Right.
I want to fire people. I want to make sure that I don't have people going into other people's homes smelling like weed and making those clients mad at me because I brought some guy who may or may not be high in their place to go fix their computer.
Yeah, you would have to ask the question.
You would never bring him in the home in the first place. He got in the car and you go, "Are you stoned?" "No." "Well, you smell like you're stoned." "I'm not." You go, "Get out of the fucking car." That's exactly what you would say. I mean, come on, Joe. There's some personal responsibility.
Everyone works from home. They go from the home to the client. They don't all meet at one space and go there. Come on.
Well,
everyone works out of their house and they go straight to the client.
No way. I would not go from drinking 4 shots of bullet whiskey and then hop in a car to go meet you at a doorstep, and you go, "What's not that in your breath?" And I'm going, "Oh, that's nothing." I mean, of course you're not going to let me go in the house. Come on, be reasonable.
Well, that's why it was important for us to stay away. I couldn't be in a lot of situations. I couldn't be around weed or anybody to go to parties and stuff. I had to ask anybody smoking. I had to get out of there because we were randomly tested you never know when a guy is going to pull you and say to go upstairs up to the Hyatt room and say, hey, go report to room 75. And that meant drug testing. And if you didn't pass that test up there, you got fired. You had some kind of way, some leeway when they tested you on the spot. If they suspected you, they would give you a test right in the office of the manager's office. But you can fight those because a lot of times the stuff is not calibrated.
Because it's not an accurate test.
Yeah,
What's
it's
that,
not an
Jeff?
accurate test. But the ones upstairs, when they have when the drug testing up there, it's accurate as shit. So if you get tested upstairs where they have it set up for all, they got everything there. If you test positive, it's over.
Well, Jeff, I will say this, is that when I covered sports and they talked about dope testing for the Olympics, they were getting so fine that they could detect a tablespoon of sugar in an Olympic-sized swimming pool. That's how fine they can get. So I think modern testing capabilities know, oh yes, you have THC in your system, but we see it's a very diminished level. It's getting slower and slower every day. I'm pretty sure those logical heads are going to kick in and say, yes, you can work.
Capitalism will come through. We'll probably have some testing. I'm sure they're working on it now.
Right.
And on top of that is the fact that, like Don says, is that you could be in a room and smoke. I mean, it was rumored 20 years ago, you eat a sesame seed muffin before you get, and the next day take a test. They're gonna go, are you on heroin?
Yeah.
No, it's a poppy seed muffin. Oh, are you sure?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's a rumor.
Oh,
But people have said it. They got kicked out of the process because they had poppy seed in their system.
yeah.
Got it. Anybody else on the Zoom that can talk or not?
I don't
There's a
know.
Mike
Mike-
Heaven, but he's got no camera.
Mike,
the
Mike,
Michael
can you
was here.
talk?
Yeah, I can talk. Can you hear me?
What did you get anything out of that?
Yeah, Ted yells a lot.
Yeah, I got a couple of friends that used to be in the business out in California. And well, it screwed up they went into the transportation business. They started flying it to Colorado and to Kansas.
Yeah.
And the big problem was the banking and the handling of the money.
Yeah.
What went on in the beginning, I don't know if it's still like that, but the cops had waited. You had enough money in the safe to make it worthwhile, and they'd come in and collect it for evidence.
Jeez.
On a regular
It's
basis.
still illegal federally. That's the problem. It's
It's
still
legal
illegal.
federally.
That's what I'm saying. I understand that.
Good access to it.
One reason why it's not legal federally, Joe Boy, is because there's no standards. You have to get each state to change their banking laws. That's why it's not legal federally.
Yeah, exactly.
No, the banking laws, no, because cannabis is not legal federally, it's still against the law in every state. Even if it's legal for that individual state, it's still federally against the law. So you can still get a federal offense for it. And no
But
bank
there's-
with
They left
FDIC
the business and went into the
don't
tree
want to risk
business.
that.
But Obama killed the federal prosecution of local marijuana use. I believe it was Obama.
Biden
I
probably
gotta
put it
fact
back.
check that one.
Bank is still providing and storing money.
So for instance, I work here in Florida where we have medicinal. It wouldn't matter if I had a medicinal card. I'm hired by a company out of Ohio that doesn't have medicinal or recreational, although I heard that's all in the ballot also, the same time Florida's getting a recreational. So they will only recognize federal law. So they have random drug testing where I work. Now, obviously, I don't give a shit because I'm close to retirement anyway. So go ahead and fire me.
Don't
Okay.
Don't
screw with your pension. Don't screw with your pension.
What?
Don't screw with your
Repeat that,
pension.
Jeff. I figured I'd zoom in on you when you say that one.
What did you say? I didn't hear you, Joe Boy.
I said, can you repeat that? I'll zoom in on you. So you can say that I don't give a shit again.
Wait. Yeah, I don't care if I get fired. Is that what we want to hear? I don't care.
Let me tell you a story about Sinsemilla growers in the late 70s. So Humboldt Sinsemilla was the best of the best. We thought that had purple
Hey,
hairs. in it.
Ted.
So yeah. So anyway, you have these towns like Garberville, and these are old timber towns. Garberville, just south of Eureka and everything. This is where it was all grown on the hillsides up in these valleys that only guys could get into with either four-wheel Jeeps or even just hiking. Out would come the hills in September and October. These guys who look like Rastafarians, and they would walk into the Dodge dealership and prop down $40,000 in cash and buy a new pickup truck. And you know what? The sheriff and nobody else said anything about it.
Yeah, helps the economy.
Helps the economy.
Yep,
Yeah.
capitalism.
There you go.
So you're saying
libertarians love
California
that.
has been positive about this since 2016, pretty much?
Willie Brown brought it up in the late 70s. Everybody could grow 3 plants. That was one of the propositions that never made the ballot, but he brought it up.
Right.
Yeah, and if they'd done that, they wouldn't have been able to control it. Then it would have gone all over. But what's happened now, though, is the science of it. It led to High Times magazine talking about sinsemilla and how to get the female plants, which induces the high quality of THC and more THC. And now it's become an art. And there are hundreds of these guys. That's what they do, just like winemakers. That's what they do, and it's really good. I don't partake personally. I used to. I don't like
toilet
it.
paper.
Huh?
I want it for toilet paper. I think that's
Oh.
blood killing trees. I think we just make those pot farms and make all the toilet paper we can. We could create a whole lot of oxygen, and it would really do a lot for the planet.
Joe, you know who had the best manuals on how to grow marijuana? The U.S. Army, because he used hemp for their rope.
Yes. Actually, the whole reason why marijuana is illegal had nothing to do with marijuana. It has everything to do with hemp. Over 50,000 different products can be made from hemp. They're made from petroleum products. So if you want to green the planet and clean it up, it would be, and again, hemp is legal, but it's so hard and we're so way behind in our infrastructure. Canada had the same problem. They legalized hemp in Canada. They grew shitloads of it, and I go, what the fuck do we do with this stuff? Well, they finally figured it out.
Sell it to the U.S.
Textile, well, yeah. Well, here's
CBD.
Here's an interesting case. I lived in China for 2 years. China is the largest distributor of hemp products. I even tried to get these hemp t-shirts I sell at my show. I wanted to buy out of Canada. Way too expensive. I ended up having to go to China. I live in China. I'm thinking, great. Because I buy hemp products all the time. I have for years. I voted with my wallet constantly. And I thought, here I am in China. I'm going to be able to buy all the hemp clothing cheap, probably cheap as hell. I couldn't find it anywhere. I went into a department store and the ladies go, can I help you? I go, yeah. Do you have hemp? And they're like, what? And I did my eye translator and on my phone, and they did it on their phone, and it came up drugs. Hemp came up drugs. They're like waving around. No. It's fabric. It's fabric. And my interpreter that I had was so intrigued. I told her the whole history of how hemp became illegal from the Hearst family to everything that she started investigating, and she couldn't find it anywhere. Hemp is so underground in China, but they're making billions of dollars but they're the largest exporter in the world of hemp products. And that could be us wearing it on our sleeve.
We grew in Mississippi and Louisiana. Hey, Jeff, what were the names, the famous old names, like Columbia Gold? What were some of the old gold names?
Acapulco Gold.
Acapulco Gold, something else. You know where those names came from? The tobacco companies. Because they thought the day would come that marijuana would be legal, and they would go, boom, we can make that right now. They pack marijuana cigarettes in a heartbeat.
They copyrighted all those names.
Yeah, they copyrighted all those names.
Expecting that to happen. Yeah.
Hey, a couple things, Ted. I was just doing I'm gonna start doing this little fact check. You were partially right on Obama's sentencing for marijuana, but it wasn't marijuana, it was cocaine. He had a sentence, it was on cocaine, it wasn't on marijuana. He was still against marijuana. And it
was Biden then who, all the people who got convicted of marijuana, it was Biden who excised or commuted those sentences. People who put in jail for marijuana.
Yeah, Obama did the cocaine sentencing late. So I was just doing a little fact checking there. So
thanks for bringing us down, Don. What a buzzkill.
What a buzzkill. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the cocaine. Yeah.
I remember when my neighbor came by. It was Kim Russell. She came by.
Yeah, I know
came
Kim.
across the street, and she says, "This is what I'm going to do." And we worked on it for a while. And when Morgan came in, I was immediately just let go, and they kept Kim because she was a very good PR person. She had the look and style of what they wanted to do, and it still didn't pass because unfortunately he got in talked to kid the night before and told everyone we were going to do it for recreational as well, and it scared everyone, and we ended up missing by 2 points, and that sucks. I wanted it for medicinal right away because I needed it for my feet, and I find it really tough. But I just, if they get a way to test, if they find a way to make sure they can verify and say, okay, this is when, how much it is before they're high, and this, that, and the other, and we can now quantify it like we can do for alcohol, then I would be swayed to be okay with it. But right now,
How many people get alcohol tested on job sites? How many
Zero.
people I work with on job sites that are drinking during the day?
When
Many.
you get, when you get random, if you get a
I
random
work
test,
at theme parks, construction.
Yeah, go to any construction
Work with a
site,
lot of
do a drug
alcoholics
test.
on a
You're gonna
construction
test
site.
positive,
And
on
nobody's testing for
50%
alcohol.
of those
Yeah, you want a
in
drunk guy with a
construction
skill set on him.
sites.
20 feet in the air.
well,
If there's
we
an
had a
accident like
standard.
what Joe Boy was talking about, somebody drops a load off a forklift or something, then all hell breaks loose, and it doesn't matter what you're on.
Right.
You get
Right.
tested for everything. But-
Absolutely.
Or you can fly under the radars.
Yeah, we lost you guys. Yeah, room 73 up in the Hyatt Regency up in MCO was always open for drug testing and alcohol tests. If it wasn't 000, you got in trouble.
Well, every construction job site's got some people that are smoking before work, during work, after work, break time. It's just
Right.
the nature of the beast.
We just lost Joe and them.
Yeah, we kicked them.
Yeah.
Effective
Yeah.
is, but it's used for skin conditioning, healing, rashes,
Arthritis.
arthritis. Yeah.
For my hip replacement, I was on
Kinda
a lot of
froze up.
CBD at night. I would take it before I went to bed so I could sleep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no question.
I mean,
It's got
Ted's
medicinal
right.
use.
When we make it legal, that's when there's going to be more, not even just regular control. I think it's going to be like the wine industry or some of these other industries.
Well,
and
a
you're going
good-
to have the
a good
regulating.
analogy to that, Jeff. I'm sorry to interrupt. A good analogy of that is betting. And what's his name? The former CBS announcer. I'll think of him in a minute. He's involved in Vegas and all the betting. And his point was, who better to regulate betting and its influence on the games? Like, let's say somebody gets to a quarterback, offers $150,000, $1 million to throw a game. Who better to regulate than the gambling casinos, who can see odds shift and go up and down and say, hey, this isn't right. Something happened here. Let's look at that. And It's the same with when you start growing it. This is your libertarian tendencies kicking up. Let the market determine what succeeds.
Yeah.
Best value, best product, best marketing, best distribution.
Yeah.
That's your libertarian stuff kicking in. And everybody else, if you sell shit product that's illegal and you get caught, you get kicked out.
Yeah.
That's right. That's good.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's just like with anybody growing any shit or making or manufacturing a product.
So, and you're gonna have the government involved. You have to, because there's taxes on this stuff. They're gonna weigh it. They're gonna measure its quality. They're
Yeah.
gonna say you can't ship that. It has mold in it. You can't let that go to the public.
Right.
That stuff. It happens in agriculture every day.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Tainted, well, E. coli with the
Yeah,
agriculture.
there you go.
Yeah.
That's a good industry to get into. Let's talk about pork manufacturing, Bob. Let's get into that discussion.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna be on the vegan side. I don't know which side that is,
Yeah.
but
You
probably
could do
over
a
here
whole
where I
show on boar's heads out of West Virginia.
Let's talk about pork manufacturing.
am. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, is it just us now?
I don't know.
Who's on the side?
Hey, I
Here,
about
went off
both
on
sides?
Peter because I'm sorry for talking. Well, listen, I went off on Peter because I thought the fine point of insurance companies was way off point of what we're talking about. Whether it should come to use in regular recreational should come to use. Granted, there's ramifications. Insurance does play a part of it, but then you got really to fine details that I think we're way off the main road. That's just me. I'll apologize if I
No,
was good.
Bob, are you guys mic'd? Because Ted and I are the only ones that can hear each other.
Right.
I hear Bob talking.
I can't
Oh,
hear
you do?
Bob.
I can't.
I can't hear Bob
Oh,
either.
there you go. Yeah, the host is.
The
I
host
can't
is
hear
muted.
Bob, and I
Okay,
can't.
can you hear us
There we
now?
go.
Yeah, I can
hear
hear
Joe Boy
Joe.
now.
Now you can hear?
Oh, now we can hear you.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Joe's just been putzing around here. I think I can't have him as a panelist anymore because then he fucks up his other
I'm gonna
job.
sign off,
okay?
guys.
Bob,
Yeah.
Bob, I just said to Jeff, you guys are supposed to hear
Well,
it.
we could hear you.
Oh no, we heard you.
Okay, about Peter, and I went
Yeah.
off on Peter.
Yeah.
okay.
No, I'm just saying. I think I'd be willing to bet the insurance companies will find a way to screw it up for people. I'm just saying.
I
Because
agree.
They're gonna find a way to make their money. Of
I'm
course.
just saying. Next time you get your insurance policy, auto insurance policy, read the damn thing. That's all I'm
Right.
saying.
Well, I mean, DUIs have already increased it by 20%. And if you get a DUI, you go higher as well. But everyone has been increased by 20% because of DUIs. If this gets passed in Florida, all our insurance will go up again because of it.
Could
And
be.
it's just-
Well, I don't know about that. I thought our insurance in California did go up 20%. I don't think it was DUIs. I think it was paying for wildfires, personally.
Mhm.
Right.
I could be.
Yeah.
We
Well,
lost
Lucky we
billions.
don't have that here.
The insurance companies have lost billions paying off homeowners. There's some
Yeah.
people who live in very, very nice neighborhoods 20 miles east of San Francisco cannot get fire insurance for their
You
house.
gotta stop playing with matches, man.
Well,
Um,
well, we got the
especially-
same problem, Ted. We got the problem here with the hurricanes and obviously people building on the coast.
right.
Right.
It's hard
Right.
to get insurance on those things. Pretty
Those-
crazy.
Those condos
Hey,
in Miami
Ted,
ain't
you
worth
can tell
nothing anymore.
California that cigarettes, anybody knows that smokes nicotine cigarettes, that there's an additive in it that keeps it burning. So that's why when people flow it out the window, it starts forest fires. What happens? You quit smoking a joint, it goes out.
Goes out. Yeah.
Why? Because pot's your friend. That's why. It's not gonna burn down the forest. God grew the forest. You can go and scoop an herb. You take a nap, it takes a nap. You wake up, it's ready to wait. Come on, we got brownies.
You know what,
Oh
Jeff?
my
A
God.
CHP obviously sees you flick out a cigarette just out the door. That's a $500 fine.
I
You
bet.
flip it out in Northern California in September on a hot day outside Reading, you're gonna pay a lot more than that. You're endangering
Oh, yeah.
society.
Well, let's
I've never
face
seen
it,
somebody
nobody's
flick
gonna
out a
flick
joint
roach out
unless
the
the
window.
cops
They're gonna
after
save
them.
that damn thing.
I never see anybody flip out a joint after unless the
But
cops
yeah,
after them.
No, you're right. You're right, Don. We heard that one. That was good.
What'd Don say?
He said that he's never seen anybody throw a joint out the window unless the cops are after your ass.
No, then they eat it.
Yeah,
Right.
then they look for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You know,
All right,
if
guys.
you smoke marijuana, you
Yeah,
can
let's close
smell
it out. Hey guys, thank you for the show. Obviously we'll I don't know. We're gonna find something. I'm gonna get with Ted. We're gonna get with these other reasonable people. We're gonna figure out a discussion we can have where we can really go at each other. Everybody feels equal. I don't know where we intended to go with that show, but maybe I shouldn't have smoked a joint before the show. You know, hard to say. You know, but actually I didn't. But,
Well, my point
Bob,
was,
might have been a
I gave you
good
a
I'm
idea.
sorry I didn't bring- I'm sorry I didn't bring up the fact that cartels still sell marijuana in California. It comes down to the individual dispensaries,
Uh-huh.
you know, abiding by the law instead of
Yeah, right.
missing out on paying their taxes. I think that's the worst part of it all.
All right.
there
Well,
you go.
thanks guys so
Right.
much.
We'll see ya.
Talk to y'all
Look at
during
that
the week.
list I gave you.